Hi, this is BK Black Krishna from manfowars.com, where I'm promoting polite patriotism. Tell people stop acting too rude and sketchy to talk, and instead have nice ladies and gents respect each other, teach kids to look, talk, and feel great, and locally discuss and share online info offline as nice, helpful people making better people and places to live. So check out manfowars.com for more on that. And this video is called A Hot Girl and an Ugly Girl Destroy the Lakers. A hot girl and an ugly girl destroy the Lakers. I was going to say a hot girl and a not hot girl to be nicer, but it's like, whatever. Throw it in there in terms of locker room talk, as it were, even though it's not a polite thing to say. And this is based on an amazing new article by Baxter Holmes from ESPN. And ESPN has a deal with the NBA. They gave the NBA hundreds of millions of dollars, and all the NBA franchises got richer, and all the players got richer. So ESPN has a unique relationship with the NBA, where they actually want the NBA to do really well. So in this massive article by Baxter Holmes, they go through the Lakers' dysfunction. For those who don't know, over the last 6 years, the Lakers have lost more games than any franchise except for the Knicks. They're kind of tied. These are two of the major franchises in the major markets in the NBA, and so the NBA really wants them to do well. And so I would say a lot of this stuff is true, in the sense of people actually said it and it's their opinion. And there's a lot of dysfunction, a lot of ex-coaches, a lot of ex-employees, even current employees, even some players, former and current, are speaking to the reporter Baxter Holmes in this article. However, you know, there are two sides to every story, so you can kind of calculate this side and other sides. But it seems to be a well-done story on the Lakers' dysfunction, and I trace that dysfunction back to a hot girl and an ugly girl at the very top destroying the Lakers franchise, and hopefully this can help them stop. Videos like this, articles like this, and so on. Because the NBA is better with the major franchises doing well. I'm a Toronto Raptors fan myself, and I hope they win the championship this year in 2019. But regardless, it'd be nice to see the Lakers and the Knicks and most franchises doing well in the NBA as part of a healthy league. So here's the article. Lakers 2.0, the failed reboot of the NBA's crown jewel. And I'll put a link to it below so you can check it out yourself. It's a very long article, and it's by Baxter Holmes, ESPN senior writer. And this came out on May 28th, 2019. And so I strongly recommend you read the article. But I want to go through a little bit of history before I get into the essential thesis here. Now, Jeannie Buss needed Magic Johnson because a couple of years ago, Jeannie Buss, as director of the business side of the Lakers, when her father, the late great Dr. Jerry Buss, who ran a great franchise for years before he died, and in 2013 Jeannie Buss and her brother Jim Buss took over. Jeannie Buss was handling the business side of basketball. She wasn't involved in the basketball decisions, more of the marketing and relationships that the Lakers franchise had with other businesses and ways to make money, jersey sales, promotions, and so on. So Jeannie Buss was in charge of the business side, and her brother Jim Buss was in charge of the basketball side since 2013. But after 4 years, from 2013 to 2017, the basketball side wasn't doing very well. Business was still booming on Jeannie's end, but the basketball side under her brother Jim was not doing very, very well. So Jeannie Buss, in a bit of an internal coup against her brother, took over the franchise. She took her brother Jim to court, and she got majority control over the franchise, which is a family-owned business, which her brother Jim Buss still owns, but doesn't significantly control, and she's got some other siblings in the mix, as well as some minority owners as well. And so she actually went to court over this, and in court, in a legal court, and in the court of public opinion, most importantly, Jeannie Buss needed some support on her side, saying that she should be the one running the franchise. And that's where Magic Johnson comes in. Because if she takes the most famous and arguably greatest Laker of all time, Irvin Magic Johnson, and says, hey, Magic Johnson, believes I, Jeannie Buss, should be running things because my brother, Jim Buss, is not doing a good job, then, of course, the court legally and the court of public opinion can be swayed by that. So that brings in Magic's involvement. So he was really brought in by Jeannie to help her take control over the franchise. And so now let's get to who Jeannie Buss is. Now, Jeannie Buss was a favored daughter of her father, Dr. Jerry Buss, who was a ladies' man, playboy, successful businessman. She's also really hot and really cute. She's hot. I mean, she's now older, probably in her 40s or 50s, but she's really hot and really cute as a younger girl and even attractive as an older woman today. She was dating Phil Jackson, former Bulls and Lakers coach as well. And so as a hot girl, she wants to be liked. She wants everyone smiling. She wants to make everyone happy. She doesn't want anybody to say, she doesn't want to say no to people, because that might make them feel bad. And so as a hot girl, it's harder for her just sort of naturally to sort of make people feel bad. And I know BK Black Christian at manforwars.com, I've, advanced this idea in general when it comes to men and women. Women, main job, put us in a good mood and make babies. We got to make sure of that. That's what their job is. Put us in a good mood and make babies. Now, they can do a bunch of other stuff, and the rest of that stuff is either a bonus or a pain in the ass. If they're smart, if they're funny, if they make a lot of money, that's a bonus. If they want to do some boring crap like, watch Amy Schumer or, do some boring shopping, that's a pain in the ass. But again, if the baseline standard of put us in a good mood and make babies is something that we can all make sure is possible, then they can do whatever the hell else they want, right? And so that's the male-female dynamic, and girls love this sort of thing. They have to think about it and go, yeah, you know what? It'd be nice if everywhere I went, people were a little happier to see me, a little nicer to me, and I could be a cause of that, right? With other girls and with guys especially, right? So that's Jeannie Buss. And then and so she's the hot girl in this. And then the ugly girl, or the not hot girl, is Linda Rambis. And Linda Rambis is the wife of Kurt Rambis, and Kurt Rambis is kind of a goofy-looking guy. He was kind of a goofy player, although he was a Laker and a fan favorite, but a goofy guy, not a great player, but a guy that people liked because he was kind of goofy. And he wasn't very successful as a coach, and he hasn't really distinguished himself either in the NBA or as part of the NBA business as a coach or as an executive. So he's there, but he's not like a badass, super successful dude in terms of being a player or in terms of being a basketball executive. And his wife, Linda, is really not that hot. And she, by all accounts, is Jeannie Buss's best friend. And so, and you might have seen this in other dynamics out there, where if it's a bunch of hot girls, they can generally agree. If it's a hot girl with a not hot girl or an ugly girlfriend, then the ugly girlfriend has to act a bit bitchy and disagreeable in a jealous way, and can try and manipulate that hot girl in some way. You might see this in some dynamics, because that's how she flexes her power in that situation. She knows she can't be as hot and as attractive and as likable as her friend, so she flexes in a different way as more of a bitchy version of herself. So right now we've got in charge of the Lakers, hot girl Jeannie Buss, and her not hot girl or ugly girl best friend Linda Rambis, and that power struggle is compromising Jeannie Buss's decisions in some ways, where Jeannie might say, I want to do this, and Linda Rambis, being her best friend and a not hot girl, might just screw that up or disagree with that, and Jeannie still wants her as her best friend, but Linda will be like, well, no, I don't think you should do this, not because it's even a sound decision based on business decisions or basketball decisions to get the best player or support system for the players, including coaching and front office and athletic training staff, but because she just wants to flex with her best friend. And this is the power dynamic that is wrecking the Lakers. And to prove that, or at least explain that in some way and show you where I got some of this from, I'm going to do a little search for Linda here in this Lakers 2.0, the failed reboot of the NBA's crown jewel. And I'll show you how Baxter Holmes, with his excellent sourcing and reporting, describes their relationship, which is known by a lot of people. So it says in this article that they talk about the Lakers being a family business and wanting to have family ties and work with people that not because they're the most competent from a business or basketball perspective, but because they're part of the Lakers' extended family. And so the article says, rival executives have defined this tendency as more of a weakness than a strength, specifically with respect to Pelinka, who was Kobe Bryant's former agent and is now the GM of the Lakers, and Johnson, Magic Johnson, noting that they were principally chosen not for their experience or qualifications, but for their connection to Buss and the Lakers. Multiple team staffers, as well as others close to the organization, cast doubt on the possibility of the team changing its pattern of, quote, Lakers family hirings, or on overhauling the culture itself. As one source close to the coaching staff said of Buss, Jeannie Buss, she has accepted that this is who they are. And by the way, in case you don't want to, you don't know who they are and what they look like, I did a search for Jeannie Buss. And among the searches in my DuckDuckGo search engine, which I use instead of Google, it's better with privacy supposedly. One of the automatic searches, because when you start typing in, sometimes it'll give you what a lot of people have searched for to sort of help you fill it in quicker instead of typing out the whole thing, was Jeannie Buss in a swimsuit. And this is what popped up: some pictures of a young, hot Jeannie Buss posing in an attractive way, sort of naked with a couple of basketballs over her boobs, and posing as a young hot girl, smiling and making everyone like her. And then there's some articles here. Lakers owner Jeannie Buss likes to pose nude. 2 paragraphs. Laker Buss hot young bikini pics. Interview with Phil. Breakup. Blah blah blah. So there is some of the Jeannie Buss scuttlebutt. And for those of you that do know what she looks like, I apologize if this is redundant, but here she is sort of more today. Again, still a very attractive woman in her 40s or 50s. And she's not just attractive in pictures. She's very attractive and has a way about her, right? There is hot girl Jeannie Buss. Now, let's look at her not hot girlfriend, Linda Rambis. This is Linda Rambis. So you can immediately tell that she is not as hot as her friend, Jeannie Buss. Right? So that gives you an idea of sort of what we're working with here. Now, let's get back to the Buss family and Jeannie Buss accepting that this is who they are. And again, she's accepted, even though that everybody knows, everybody in the basketball world knows, everybody knows that the Lakers are dysfunctional and they've got some major issues. When it comes to this, she has still accepted that this is who they are, according to this article. All right. Linda. There she is. So why would she do that? Why would she do that? Because, if she's this cutthroat businesswoman, blah, blah, blah. It's also because she's a hot girl. And why are some of her decisions compromised? Because of her ugly girlfriend or less hot, not hot friend. So back to this article. It says here, regarding Pelinka's fate, that's the fate of the GM, Rob Pelinka, who was recently outed for lying. He was at an event, a Lakers Genius Speaker Series, where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the famous actor, came in to speak to the young Lakers and the Lakers team to inspire them to, dream big and think differently and blah, blah, blah. And Rob Pelinka told a story about how when the movie The Dark Knight, at that event, The Rock is there, the whole team is watching, and Rob Pelinka, as Kobe Bryant's former agent, does not have a good reputation. He's known as a bit of a storyteller, as a bit of a liar, and this proves it. At that event with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson recently, he said, I was Kobe's agent for 18 years, and Kobe Bryant had just seen The Dark Knight movie with Heath Ledger. You guys all know that Dark Knight movie. Well, he was like, wow, Heath Ledger got so locked into that character. I'd love to figure out how he locked in so much. So we got in touch with Heath Ledger, and Kobe went to dinner with Heath Ledger before the Lakers played against the Knicks, and he used some of that focus that Heath Ledger, explained to him to beat up on the Knicks and had a great game. Well, it turns out that that couldn't possibly have happened because the Lakers didn't play the Knicks after that anecdote or later in that year. They played them in November when The Dark Knight was still filming. So unless Kobe had a super early screening, highly unlikely. And the movie The Dark Knight, with Heath Ledger playing the Joker, where he was famously incredible at it, and I believe won an Oscar for it, he actually died 6 months before the movie came out. So the idea that Kobe Bryant could have seen the Dark Knight movie, mostly with everybody else, even if he got an early screening, right, like as a celebrity, the idea that he saw an early screening before Heath Ledger died was unlikely. And then he had dinner, and then he supposedly played the Knicks after that. None of it makes sense, right? And so Rob Pelinka is known as a liar, and that is 100% proof of that, among other sort of tall tales and strange stories he's told. So, regarding current GM Rob Pelinka's fate, front office staffers, coaching staff members, and others close to the team point to the power and influence held by Linda Rambis. Her title within the Lakers is Executive Director of Special Projects, but Rambis is the wife of former Laker Kurt Rambis, is better known within and around the organization as perhaps Jeannie Buss' closest friend and confidant. So everybody knows that she's Jeannie Buss's closest friend. And again, hot girl and an ugly girl. Are they destroying the Lakers? Looks like it. And Linda Rambis, the team staffer, said, has long been an ardent supporter and ally of Pelinka for reasons some staffers said they don't fully understand. Quote, nobody gets it, one coaching staff member said. Well, I'll tell you this, Rob Pelinka looks really good. He looks like Rob Lowe. He looks like the famous actor Rob Lowe, very, very, almost exactly like Rob Lowe. He's a good-looking guy. He played at the University of Michigan basketball. He's in good shape. And so Linda Rambis, as an ugly girl, is probably buttered up by the lying, storytelling, agent conniving Rob Pelinka, and that's why she really loves. She's like, wow, this super cute guy really likes me and thinks I'm hot. It's like, no, she's buttering you up because you're best friend of the Lakers owner, Jeannie Buss, and then you have his back and he doesn't get fired or disciplined as part of this process. So it says right here that for some reason, even though, yes, he was Kobe Bryant's agent, but Kobe Bryant doesn't want to be involved with the Lakers in many ways anymore. He's moving on to doing stuff for his kids and writing books and making movies and being a guy in Hollywood, winning Oscars and so on. And so he's not happy about being dragged into the Lakers mess, although he's still a Laker for life. He still wants the team to do well. He's still supportive. He doesn't want to be involved in the day-to-day operations. So the fact that Pelinka is connected with Kobe is probably not enough to keep him in charge of all the Lakers basketball, where he's the GM and there's no president of basketball operations above him. Magic Johnson recently quit very publicly and has gone on record to say there's a lot of dysfunction and backstabbing by people like Rob Pelinka. So even though Magic Johnson, greatest Laker of all time, still a good friend of Jeannie Buss's, says GM Rob Pelinka backstabbed me. He was talking trash behind my back, even though I told him I was going to leave the job after 3 years and give it to him so he could move up from general manager to president of basketball operations. He was still backstabbing me when I was not around, and that got back to me. Even though Magic Johnson says that, and even though he and Jeannie Buss are still good friends, right, and he still wants the Lakers to do well, there's still some sort of relationship there, Rob Pelinka still can't get fired, right? He should be fired by now. He should be fired for his tall tales, for the fact that as a former agent, he's got a bad reputation around the league. A lot of teams and a lot of other agents don't like him and have warned people about him. Why can't Rob Pelinka get fired? Well, the reason is Rob Pelinka is buttering up ugly girl Linda Rambis, and then Linda Rambis is not letting her friend Jeannie Buss fire Rob Pelinka as the owner of the Lakers, the majority controlling owner and the ultimate person in charge of the Lakers. That's why. It says nobody gets it. Nobody gets why Nobody gets why Linda Rambis is such a huge supporter of Rob Pelinka. Why? Good-looking guy buttering up an ugly girl. That's why. Now, back to this article. In some circles around the NBA, Linda Rambis has been referred to as a, quote, shadow owner of the Lakers, unquote. A title that one front office staffer said Rambis enjoys, noting, quote, she loves it, and that she controls and manipulates Jeannie. So there again, right here in this article, this is a quote from one current front office staffer of the Lakers saying, Linda Rambis loves, as an ugly girl with her hot girlfriend, being considered a shadow owner, and she controls and manipulates Jeannie Buss. So that doesn't mean making the best decisions based on the best facts and evidence and analysis. That means flexing like this. That's what that means. That's what that means, right? All right. Sorry, I keep moving my phone, and then this part disappears. Here we go. So that explains it, right? That explains what's happening. She loves it, and she controls and manipulates Jeannie. Kurt Rambis, a Lakers senior basketball advisor and close associate of Phil Jackson. The other thing, her husband is good friends with Jeannie Buss's ex-fiancé, Phil Jackson. The former Lakers coach and Jeannie Buss ex-fiancé sat in on the team's coaching meetings throughout the season, creating a sense of unease. Staffers had already suspected that he would report back to Linda and thus Pelinka and Buss, but a Lakers spokesperson insisted Walton invited Kurt Rambis to those meetings. So basically, Kurt Rambis, the husband of Linda Rambis, was inviting himself to the coaches' meetings, even though Luke Walton didn't want him there, because you're supposed to separate the front office that's constantly looking for possible trades with players and the coaching staff that's supposed to be loyal to the players, where the coaching staff is like, I got your back, I got confidence in you, I want you here, and the front office is going, look, we like our team, but we're always trying to make it better, so any of you can go. So there's supposed to be some separation between the coaching staff and the players. That relationship is supposed to be more private. And the front office, the general manager and president of basketball operations, that's supposed to be separated. And yet that's also been breached. So anyway, and it says here, during a chaotic season, sources close to Walton described the coach as frustrated in part of the instability around him, and this was part of that. So anyway, for NBA fans out there and for basketball fans out there, I strongly recommend you read this article. And I hope some of this analysis helped you understand that. Because I do think it's fascinating, and people go, well, what's going on? And it's like, well, that seems to be what's going on, based on what I can tell. So anyway, there you have it. I do hope this helps. I know a lot of people out there love NBA gossip and NBA junk food, and they make it a lot of fun to love. I do myself. And so, I hope this helped. Anyway, BK Black Krishna for manforwars.com. Feel free to comment, subscribe, get in touch as you'd like. Check out the Man for Wars website, or financially support the manforwars.com efforts to help people be nicer to each other and communicate better, especially offline, locally, where they live, to make better people and places to live. And on that note, I do hope this helps, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.